I'm here to talk storage. So we had some awesome stuff. This is actually all the vision and the extraordinary life is what drew me to Mike. I could care less about the ordinary garages. They were just the tool, right? The vehicle. So I'm here to talk about one of our vehicles, one of our facilities that we purchased and we have sold. So we're all the way through it. And I do know, I'll say, markets shifted from when we went through our process of leasing up, fixing, and then going into a sale. We were hitting a few of the rate hikes as we went, but either way, I really want you to we learned a lot of lessons from this. I'm not going to drone through a lot of numbers. If anybody wants to geek out on numbers, I will give you all the numbers and you can crunch them and spreadsheet them. I'm not going to hang on all of them here. Krista said I had 45 minutes, so maybe I'll go through some of the numbers. So it is a case study on Macon Storage Center, a facility that we had bought. This is the good, the bad, and in this case, it was the sometimes ugly side of self-storage investing. I don't know if anybody that's new here, my wife, Andrea, I just wanted to make sure I had her on the case study because, the ride that was Macon Storage Center was definitely not mine alone. It was not ours alone. It drew in the kids and everybody in our sphere to get through this, but I appreciate all the work and the faith that she had in us to actually buy something that she had the gut instinct up front that we were going to have some trouble, and she was not wrong. But thankfully, I was not wrong either in my assumptions. So how did we find the deal? We did tell everybody that what we were looking for, right? That's a key part of all of this, right? You have to tell everybody what you're looking for. Don't be shy. You can't hide. And if an opportunity comes up, right? Anybody in this room looking for their first deal, and raise your hand, looking for your first deal. All right, everybody with deals, look around, pay attention, let's help them out. Okay, so I told everybody I needed a deal. I wanted a deal. I wanted 20,000 square feet. I wanted it in the Southeast. Alex Pardo on one of the calls said you dig your well before you're thirsty. And so we had already made those relationships, talked to people, talked to lenders, talked to everybody we could talk to about what we were doing so that we could make sure that we were at least in the conversation once the right deal came along that we were looking for. And we owned a facility, so that did help. We had a track record that we could close. Really, this should just be a picture of Ken Holmes without him making that phone call to me and letting me know of this deal. He was thankfully busy in the middle of doing something else, and so this one came through, and we took advantage of it. So thank you, Ken. I appreciate it, seriously. Macon Storage Center. Here's some of the nitty-gritty of it. It's marketed as 21,475 square feet. All right, so a lot of this, what I'm gonna show you is gonna be a reminder of trust but verify. Found a lot of things. Even though it was a broker deal, there was still some things, right? I mean, so I think we might assume maybe that some of the information we're getting from brokers might be better than if we were direct to seller, especially some of the records that are kept. 4 buildings, marketed with 150 units. It is 156. Sits on 1.6 acres. We had no expansion room. We were surrounded by woods. Seemed awesome at first, like potential to buy those woods, but they were really just the fortress and the hiding area for all of our criminals. So the woods would have been better with a wide open field. I'll just put it that way. Less trees better. It was fenced. It was gated. It actually had an entrance gate and an exit gate. It was hooked up to DKS. I had no experience in DKS and I didn't have a willingness to learn it, so I just swapped everything out with the cloud access control, the PDK system, and that was better for me. If anybody knows how to use DKS, God bless you, because I couldn't figure it out at all whatsoever. Purchase price, it was listed for $600. We did negotiate it for $540, and at that time it was advertised as a gross income of about 84 grand. Did have an ESS website, had third-party professional managers right in there helping the owner out. It's working out well. Just for location, it's actually not too far from here. It's about 80 miles away. And this is what it looked like. So 4 buildings. That last building actually had recently got Got a new roof actually, so the one that looks destroyed was the best of the four. But it was a pretty simple, I don't know, does this thing got a pointer, right? Okay, there we go. So this was the only entrance and exit. It was a little weird, but everybody came all the way down here for the entrance. And then the exit was kind of down here in the tree line that would come out, so. It was good that I already had 2 gates. Saved a lot of money on the CapEx up front. Trust but verify. On the left, on your left as well, was the site map. All right, so as we walk around the building, nothing's going in and out. It's not like Legos. It's legit 4 rectangular buildings, as you saw right on the previous one. All right, so we're looking at the site map and we're trying to figure everything out, and it's professionally managed, third-party management. Had this for years. All these little ones here were wrong, like 77, 78, 79. They were charging $29 a month, and they're 10 by 10s. They're doing this 5 by 5s. That's where I found the extra 1,000 square feet was in there. So $29 went to $79 very quickly, and everyone was like, just having that conversation with the customers, like, you're not in a 5 by 5, right? Just walk in there and take some steps to your right, go back and take some steps to your left, and you'll count higher than 5 each way. Okay. So trust but verify. Here's the marketing analysis that came out with it. And the reason I'm kind of showing you what we looked at is just maybe to kind of help some of our thought processes so you understand where we were coming from with what we saw. Cap rate, here we go, right? Who was looking for some cap rate talk? So that was the cap rate that it was being listed at. All right, so how many people have searches and have a cap rate lock somewhere in there, in like a filter? Does anybody use cap rate in your search filters? Is it anything that matters to anybody really with what we're buying in this room? Right answers, okay, perfect. So this is the gross potential rent, according to what they said. Anybody see a big number that's jumping off this page? This is what made me buy the deal. There's one number on this page that made me buy the deal. And this is the one number that I showed my wife on, and she said, we're gonna have problems. I said, I'm gonna make most money. Anybody see the number? Say it? Well, right, that's weird, right? I mean, they already chopped like 30%, and then they did it again. Payroll, that was what, they definitely weren't worth a damn bit of that. Promise you, from what I found. Did you see the site map? You want me to go back to that? That was right. Say it, ding, ding, ding. Expenses, almost 60%. Almost 60% expense ratio on this. I knew enough even at that point. I mean, I was like a year and a half in, but I was like, that doesn't seem to make sense. So this was what they were basing all this on, is they're trailing 6 months. And yeah, right, so vacancy, concessions, and discounts, they already chopped 33% off their potential gross. So I wasn't afraid of the 5 cap or whatever, obviously. This is why we did this. Yeah, $12,000 payroll. I mean, instantly just said, hey, honey, we can cross that out. We're free for a while. Right? It wasn't, right, I mean, that was just the no-brainer of the expenses, of why I was so adamant of pushing forward on this one, even though we had a couple of red flags.